Occasionally I get questions from people who want to know how to become an art teacher. My best advice is to start taking courses at an accredited college, art school, or university. Not just art courses, but art education courses and developmental psychology courses. Reading on your own is great, but as a supplement. It's not going to be a replacement for higher education. When I see this question asked online in art teacher groups, the most frequent response I've noticed is Pinterest or numerous art teacher blogs or websites with lesson ideas, including my own blog. Let me explain why I don't give this advice. Those sites are great, and we all use them, but they won't truly teach you how to build an art program. When I started teaching in 1989, I was the first elementary art teacher the school had ever had. Prior to that, the classroom teacher covered the topic. The result was that every time the teacher gave the kids a coloring sheet, she put in their plan book that the kids had art. Or if they did a drawing along with, say, their spelling words, that was considered their art time. The result? I had lots and lots of work unteaching the damage that had been done. Most kids initially refused to draw at all. Why? Because every time a project needed to, quote, look good, the teacher had given them either an oak tag tracer to use, or use the overhead projector to have them trace, or she gave them a pre-drawn ditto and had them just color it in. Actual drawing, where the kid created something, those were generally not hung up or thought about at all. It was more of a product of, here's some paper for free time. It was initially heartbreaking, but I managed to persevere, and I'm proud to say I helped raise a few generations of children who now love to draw and create. It was necessary to develop some very strict standards of what was and wasn't art, and what would and would not be permissible in my classroom. A lot of teachers had the misconception that when I pushed my cart into the room, they could leave me the coloring sheets that they had planned to use in social studies, and that I would now do them with the class. No. I got into it with one teacher who wanted me to have the kids color and cut out figures from a worksheet and glue them onto popsicle sticks to make puppets for some project she was doing on a Japanese puppet theater. I said no, and she complained to the principal. I told him I would work with her, but only if I could do it completely my own way. I then said, "You hired somebody with a degree in art who has a background in that discipline. What she is asking me to do is not art, and I have a strict policy of not allowing kids to color adult-drawn worksheets and present them as their own art in my classroom. Doing this project would undermine everything I have built in my classroom all year. If she wants puppets, the kids will create puppets, but they will design them themselves." After the project was done and looked fantastic, she apologized to me and said, "I just didn't realize children could draw this well and create it themselves." My point is, I was only 23 years old, but I had a BFA in art education. The words I used, the case I made to defend the integrity of my program, that is not something that can be, quote, self-taught. No Pinterest board will teach you how to do that. This is a disturbing national trend, not just in art education, but in education in general. Think of the Teach for America program, for example. Hiring the unqualified not only devalues our profession, it also contributes to the high teacher turnover rate and growing achievement gap between us and other industrialized nations. When education is not honored as a professional career path and teachers don't need to meet professional requirements, it's the children who suffer. At some point, we need to speak up and defend our profession.